December 27, 2024, News Report 1. According to Nikkei News, Japan plans to further relax the application requirements for foreign entrepreneurs' visas starting in January next year. Currently, the entrepreneurial visa allows foreigners to start businesses in Japan, with a maximum stay of 2 years. The current regulations require applicants to have a business location and employ at least 2 full-time workers or provide proof of at least $30,000 in funds. Starting in January, these 2 requirements will be abolished. According to data from the Japanese Immigration Bureau, Japan issued 6,300 entrepreneurial visas in 2023, a 2 to 3-fold increase compared to the past 5 years. Industry insiders predict that, with the removal of these requirements, the number of applicants could surge even further. News Report 2. According to China's Central Television, the Zhuhai Intermediate People's Court issued a death sentence on December 27 to Fan Wei-chiu for endangering public safety. Fan, 62 years old, confessed in court. The court found that on November 11, Fan drove a newly purchased SUV into the Xiangzhou Sports Center in Zhuhai, hitting a crowd of people who were exercising, resulting in 35 deaths and 43 injuries. The court stated that Fan, dissatisfied with his divorce and business failure, chose to vent his anger by driving into the crowd. Following the incident, President Xi Jinping instructed that the case be dealt with severely, and the investigation was swiftly conducted and a verdict issued. Additionally, the Chinese government launched a special investigation targeting 8 vulnerable groups and the 3 lows and 3 fewer groups, attempting to prevent similar incidents in the future. However, analysts point out that the core issue is not the investigation but how to protect people's interests through a comprehensive social security system amidst economic downturns, rather than viewing vulnerable groups as potential suspects for surveillance and restriction. News Report 3. According to reports, ASML CEO Christophe Fouquet stated in a recent interview with Denmark's New Rotterdam newspaper that due to the inability to purchase the most advanced extreme ultraviolet (EUV) lithography machines, China's chip technology is lagging behind the global leading level by 10 to 15 years. Fouquet noted that the U.S. restrictions on the export of chip manufacturing equipment to China, which began in 2022, have had a direct impact on China's semiconductor industry development. Fouquet mentioned that currently, SMIC and Huawei are still using deep ultraviolet (DUV) lithography machines for chip manufacturing. However, in terms of cost-effectiveness and process technology, there is a clear gap compared to the global leader, TSMC. Currently, SMIC can produce 7 nanometers chips, while TSMC is expected to achieve mass production of 2 nanometers chips next year, further consolidating its technological leadership. As the world's only supplier of EUV lithography machines, ASML holds a critical strategic position in chip manufacturing. Fouquet's comments underscore the key role of advanced lithography technology in the global semiconductor competition and the profound impact of technology export restrictions on industry development. News Report 4. According to Kyodo News, the Japanese cabinet approved the budget for the 2025 fiscal year on December 27, with a total budget of $7.327 trillion, the highest in history. The main reasons for the budget increase are twofold. One is the increase in Social Security spending to $243 billion to address the aging population issue. The other is the significant rise in defense spending to $55.2 billion to address increasing security threats from China, North Korea, and Russia. The defense budget includes measures such as deploying U.S. Tomahawk cruise missiles and mobile reconnaissance radars in Okinawa. The Japanese Ministry of Defense stated that Japan is currently facing the most severe and complex security environment since World War II. This budget proposal is scheduled to be submitted to the Japanese Diet in January, and if approved, it will provide financial support for Japan to address both domestic and international challenges. News Report 5. According to Xinhua News, China's first 076 type amphibious assault ship was launched on December 27 in Shanghai and named the Sichuan ship, hull number 51. The Chinese military already possesses 4 36,000-ton 075 type amphibious assault ships, 3 of which are in service, and 1 is undergoing sea trials. The 076 type amphibious assault ship launched this time has a displacement of 40,000 tons and is equipped with a full-sized flight deck, electromagnetic catapults, and 3 arresting wires. It can carry aircraft, helicopters, and various amphibious equipment. After launching, the Sichuan ship will proceed with equipment debugging, mooring trials, and sea trials as scheduled. In addition, the China Maritime Safety Administration issued a navigation warning on December 26, announcing traffic control measures in the Deepwater Channel exit of the Yangtze River on December 28. Netizens speculate that this may be related to the return of the Fujian aircraft carrier after its 5th sea trial. The Fujian carrier was launched in June 2022 and is currently undergoing a series of sea trials. Furthermore, on the afternoon of December 27, 4 Chinese Coast Guard ships entered the restricted waters of the Jinmen Islands, and the Taipei Coast Guard immediately dispatched patrol boats for one-on-one monitoring and radioed to expel the ships. The Coast Guard stated that the weather was severe, with gusts of up to 10 on the Beaufort scale and white waves on the sea surface. The Chinese Coast Guard's forced entry into the restricted waters under such harsh conditions posed great risks. Analysts believe this move was intended to continue creating tension in the Taiwan Strait and increase pressure on regional security. News Report 6. According to Sputnik News, Russian ambassador to China, Andrei Morozov, said in an interview that Chinese President Xi Jinping plans to visit Russia next year. This will be Xi's 2nd visit to Russia as president after his March visit last year. Morozov noted that Xi broke with convention last March, visiting Russia for the 9th time as the head of state after his re-election for a 3rd term. However, Xi did not make a formal visit to Russia this year. Instead, he and Russian President Vladimir Putin held 3 talks on other occasions, including a meeting in Beijing during Putin's May visit to China, and a small-scale meeting in Zhongnanhai. Additionally, on October 22, she visited Kazan, Russia, during the BRICS summit and held another meeting with Putin. While it was an important meeting between the 2 leaders, it was not considered a formal state visit. Morozov said that the planned visit next year will further strengthen the strategic partnership between China and Russia. News Report 7. According to an announcement from the Ministry of Commerce of China on December 27, an investigation has been launched into safeguard measures on imported beef, effective immediately. Under China's foreign trade law, safeguard measures are trade protection measures aimed at shielding domestic industries from the impact of imported products. These typically include increasing tariffs and setting import quotas. Data shows that China imported a total of 2.74 million tons of beef last year, a 1.77% increase compared to the previous year, and a 65% increase from 2019. Major countries exporting beef to China include Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. Brazil accounts for 43% of the total, with 1.18 million tons, ranking first. Argentina holds a 19% share, while Uruguay has 10%. Other exporting countries like Australia, New Zealand, and the United States have smaller shares. In addition, the Ministry of Commerce also announced that starting December 29, anti-dumping duties will continue to be imposed on N-butanol imports from Taiwan, Malaysia, and the United States for 5 years, with rates ranging from 6% to 139%. This anti-dumping measure was first implemented in 2018. N-butanol is an important organic chemical raw material widely used in the paint, adhesives, textiles, and plasticizer industries. Meanwhile, according to Reuters, on December 24, the Vietnamese Ministry of Trade announced the imposition of a 97% anti-dumping duty on wind towers produced in China. This measure will take effect within 15 days and last for 5 years. Wind towers are critical support structures for wind turbines. In recent years, several countries have imposed anti-dumping measures on Chinese wind tower products, including the United States, since 2012, with duties ranging from 45% to 70%, Mexico, 21%, the European Union, 19%, and Canada, 90% to 160%. These measures reflect the growing trade protection pressure on Chinese wind tower products in the international market. News Report 8. According to Voice of America, South Korea's political situation remains unclear. After President Yoon Suk-yeol was impeached, acting President Han Duck-soo was also impeached on December 27, after only 13 days in office. Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Choi Sang-moo has taken over the acting presidency. The impeachment vote was passed unanimously by 192 opposition lawmakers out of 300 total members in the National Assembly, with no participation from the ruling People Power Party. Han Duck-soo's impeachment was mainly due to his refusal to immediately appoint 3 judges to the Constitutional Court. This left the court short of the required 9 judges, with only 6 currently serving. According to South Korean law, Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment case must be approved unanimously by 6 Constitutional Court judges. However, new judge appointments require the president's signature to take effect. Han Duck-soo refused to sign these appointments, leading to the impeachment by the opposition. On December 26, the opposition passed a bill to appoint 3 judges to restore the Constitutional Court's full 9-member bench, aiming to advance the impeachment case. However, with Han Duck-soo's impeachment, it remains critical whether the new acting president, Choi Sang-moo, will sign the bill. Meanwhile, on December 27, South Korea's Constitutional Court held its first pretrial hearing for Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment case, initiating the review process. Yoon was not present, and his position was outlined by his acting lawyer. The review of the impeachment case may last up to 6 months, indicating that political instability in South Korea will persist. The unstable political situation has had a noticeable impact on South Korea's economy. On December 27, the exchange rate of the South Korean won against the US dollar fell to 1,486 won per dollar, the lowest in 16 years. The stock market index dropped by 1.5%. Additionally, South Korea's Business Confidence Index for December fell to a 4-year low, reflecting pessimism about future economic development. News Report 9. According to reports, Zhang Kejian, the Deputy Minister of Industry and Information Technology and Director of the State Administration for Science, Technology and Industry for National Defense, SASTIND, has been dismissed after months of being missing. The Organization Department of the Communist Party announced on December 26 that Zhang was removed from his position as the SASTIN Party Secretary and replaced by Shan Zhongda, who is also the current Deputy Minister of Industry and Information Technology. Shan is expected to also assume the role of Director of SASTIND. SASTIND, established in 2008, is responsible for the development and production of the Chinese military's weapons and equipment and oversees all military-industrial enterprises, playing a crucial role in China's defense industry. Zhang Kejian, 63, previously served as the party secretary of the China Academy of Engineering Physics, the core base for China's nuclear weapons development. In 2018, he was appointed as Deputy Minister of Industry and Information Technology and Director of SASTIND. In October of this year, Zhang was absent from several key meetings and has since not appeared publicly. Reports suggest that Zhang's disappearance may be related to a corruption scandal involving China's rocket force, which implicated several senior officials, and as a key leader in the national defense technology sector, Zhang may be connected to this case. The official reasons for his disappearance and dismissal have not been disclosed. Shan Zhongda, the current Deputy Minister of Industry and Information Technology, is expected to take over the position of SASTIN Party Secretary, and likely the director as well. This personnel change is seen as a signal from the Chinese government to strengthen oversight and anti-corruption efforts in the military-industrial sector. News Report 10. According to Radio Free Asia, the Hong Kong government revoked the honorary title of Justice of the Peace from former Legislative Council member and father of Hong Kong democracy, Lee Chu-ming on December 27, effective immediately. Lee, 86, is an important figure in the Hong Kong democracy movement. After the 1989 Tiananmen Square protests, he founded the Hong Kong Alliance. In 1994, the alliance merged with the group to form the Democratic Party, where Lee became its founding chairman. He has long been in opposition to the pro-Beijing establishment, becoming one of the core figures in the pro-democracy camp. In 2021, Li was sentenced to 11 months in prison, suspended for 2 years, for participating in and organizing the 2019 unauthorized assembly. The revocation of his Justice of the Peace title is seen as further punishment for his political activities and role in the democracy movement. The Justice of the Peace system in Hong Kong, originating from the British colonial era, is an independent supervisory mechanism. The main duties of a Justice of the Peace include inspecting prisons, overseeing the treatment of prisoners, ensuring there are no miscarriages of justice or abuse, and performing symbolic roles in public affairs to gain public trust. Li's status as a Justice of the Peace had long symbolized his social standing and influence on public matters. This revocation of Li's honorary title is seen by some as part of the Hong Kong government's ongoing efforts to weaken the influence of pro-democracy figures and reflects changes in Hong Kong's political environment. Some view this decision as striking at the symbolic meaning of the Justice of the Peace honor, further highlighting the shift in Hong Kong's politics and the trend of centralized power. News Report 11. According to Yiping News, Chen Chu, the president of the Taiwan Control Yuan, recently underwent surgery and suffered a stroke. She is currently recovering in Kaohsiung. Chen, aged 74, is a key figure in the 228 incident and was sentenced to 90 years in prison for rebellion, but later turned to politics after being granted amnesty. She was elected as the mayor of Kaohsiung in 2006, became the Secretary-General of the Presidential Office in 2018, and was appointed as the President of the Control Yuan in 2020. News Report 12. According to Xinhua News Agency, Li Yang, Vice Minister of China's Ministry of Transport, announced at a press conference on December 27 that the 2024 Spring Festival travel season, Chunyun, will begin on January 14 and last until February 22, lasting for 40 days. Spring Festival travel is the busiest period for transportation in China, and it is expected that 8.4 billion passenger trips will be made in 2024. China Railway Group stated that train tickets for the first day of Spring Festival travel will go on sale on December 31. Additionally, Li Yang mentioned that there are serious corruption issues in the ticket sales process, especially the illegal use of ticket-grabbing machines, which has become one of the largest and most blatant forms of corruption. This issue is particularly prominent during Spring Festival travel and has attracted widespread attention. News Report 13. A Twitter video shows that on December 27, an explosion occurred in a residential area in Meixian, Baoji City, Shaanxi Province, creating a large hole in the building and shattering the glass in surrounding rooms. Local government reports indicated that 3 people were slightly injured and no one died. However, residents in the community group claimed that more than 10 people were injured and that many residents were awakened by the explosion, describing the scene as resembling a bomb blast. Netizens expressed skepticism, questioning why such a strong explosion did not result in more serious casualties and raising doubts about the official report. News Report 14. According to a report by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, on December 26, the U.S. has confirmed its first severe case of avian influenza, in which the virus underwent significant genetic mutations. This mutation altered the virus's hemagglutinin gene, possibly making it easier for the virus to attach to human cells. However, the CDC stated that despite the genetic changes, no human-to-human transmission of the virus has been detected so far, meaning the public risk remains low. The CDC emphasized that although the virus has changed, there is currently no cause for concern. News Report 15. According to Radio Free Asia, a video released by the Nanjing Anti-Japanese Aviation Martyrs Memorial Hall in November shows that a Chinese nationalist aircraft displayed in the museum had its blue sky white sun emblem altered to a 5-pointed star. The museum explained that this aircraft was a Soviet aid during the War of Resistance, and the emblem was changed to the 5-pointed star to restore the original state. However, military blogger Jean Ling Shangkong pointed out that during the war, both Chinese Air Force planes and Soviet aid planes had the standard Chinese Air Force colors and the blue sky white sun emblem, and never displayed Soviet Air Force markings. Many netizens questioned this change, as they felt that the blue sky white sun symbol was historically accurate and the modification was inappropriate.